Thank you, Ann. I turned professional with Jack Kramer in 1960 at the age of 24 and was immediately banned from all the Grand Slams and Davis Cup. A few months later, Tony Trabert and I were scheduled to play a series of one-night matches in France and North Africa. At the first city in France, we were told to follow the hallway to where we could change. Well, we found the room to change in, but there was absolutely nothing in it. No hooks, no benches, no lockers. Now remember, it was only a few months earlier that Gus, the locker room attendant at Wimbledon, had been asking me whether I would be taking a shower or should he draw me a bath. So I turned to Tony and said, "Trabe, where's the locker room?" He looked around, went to his bag, dug into it, and produced a 6-inch nail, which he proceeded to drive into the wall with his shoe. "There's your locker room, rookie. Bring your own nail next time and get used to it." Anyone who has had the privilege of playing with or against Tony Trabert, or has worked or even just known him, has been touched by his professionalism and humanity. I certainly was, and I'm proud to be able to call him my friend and mentor. Thank you, Trabe. In 1968, the year of open tennis, I was 32 and was asked to join WCT, World Championship Tennis. I spent 13 years with Lamar Hunt and Al Hill Jr. learning the business side of the sport. Lamar taught me many things. One was that there are 2 words to show business, and most people forget the second word. WCT grew into a powerful force for pro tennis. We pioneered most of the changes that today are taken for granted. Yellow tennis balls, colored clothing, tiebreaker, umpire overrule, blue courts, chairs on the court, etc. We also took tennis to a lot of very exotic places. In 1971, for instance, when the Shah of Iran wanted a tennis tournament in Tehran, I sent our representative in London, John MacDonald, out there to talk to him. He met with a very high official a general in the army. He was in charge of the army. While the prize money of $50,000 was no problem, the organization was pretty sparse. John told the general that we needed ball boys and linesmen with good eyesight. The general replied, "Ball boys are no problem, and I can let you have a dozen or so of my sniper division to call the lines." The players said later that the line calls were exceptionally good. After I left WCT in the early 80s, I served a short stint as executive director of the ATP, and after that I was asked by Philippe Chatrier, the then president of the ITF, to join him in their office in London as marketing director. I had come full circle from being a tennis rebel and an outcast pro in the early days and a business opponent when I ran WCT, to now being an executive at the ITF, a period that had spanned almost 30 years. It was revealing that Philippe, whom I had even sued back in the days of WCT, would want to hire me, as I am sure that I'd been a huge thorn in his side. So one night I asked Philippe why he'd hired me. He smiled and said, "There was an old proverb that says that the best gamekeeper you can hire is an ex-poacher." So thank you, Philippe. Another person that I want to thank is Butch Buchholz, on my left. Butch and I played against each other as amateurs and professionals, worked at the ATP together, dreamed of tennis becoming a big-time sport, and spent most of our life trying to see that it did. Butch has done so much for our sport, including creating the Lipton, now the Sony Ericsson in Miami, the first 2-week men's and women's event in tennis outside of the Grand Slams. He has always been a visionary and will always be my friend. Thank you, Butch. I also owe a lot of gratitude to my late brother Lee, who would have loved to be here today, and my parents, who gave me all they could. And a special thank you to Rod Laver, Donald L., and Ann Worcester. You know, there's no saying that goes, if you need something done, give it to the busiest person you know. Ann Worcester is that person. Thank you to some dear friends who are here today to help me celebrate. My fabulous staff at the New Haven Open at Yale. Marshall Happer and his wife Karen. The Stokes, who came all the way from London. The Browns. And my current doubles partner, Joe Bachman, and his wife, Lola. Thank you for coming. And to my wife, Mina, thanks for picking me up when I fall down and break something, which, as my tennis friends in Florida will attest, is frequently. Also to the members of the Landings in Sarasota, my club, and to Kevin and Joe for naming the stadium court after me, which I hope to be playing on for many years to come. And thank you all at the Hall of Fame for keeping our sport alive through our history, which hopefully we all can learn from. I will close by accepting this award on behalf of all those professional players who were banned from playing Grand Slams for so many years, but were so instrumental in bringing about open tennis to our sport. Some, like Pancho Gonzalez, Lou Hode, Kurt Nielsen, Robert Aye, and Barry McKay, have passed on. But there are still some of us left to remember where we came from. Thank you.
Mike, on behalf of the Board of Directors, it is my honor to present you, with the help of Stan, both your certificate certifying you as a member of the International Tennis Hall of Fame and your Hall of Fame blazer. Congratulations.
Woo!
You need to turn and look at those people right there. Don't cover your face there.